Okay, so what we're covering in this section is we're starting talking about systems of equations, and this one we're going to solve by graphing. First of all, we have to know what a system of equations is. A system of these equations is a set of two or more equations that have two or more variables. Most of ours are going to have x and y, but you could really have any variable. Okay, so there's three different types of solutions, just like if we were solving regular equations. There's one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions. So with the system of equation, what happens with one solution is you have one line, and then you have another line, and I kind of missed, but where they cross, that's the solution. So this solution is at the point 3, 1. And so you would have to write the ordered pair because the solution has an x and a y answer. No solution is when they don't intersect. And so lines that don't intersect are parallel lines. So it's still the symbol no solution. But if you remember back from your algebra and geometry days, parallel slopes are equal. So if you have parallel lines, the slopes are the same, which means they're never going to intersect. It means they're going to be equal. Infinite solutions is still going to be this all reals answer. But what happens with infinite solutions is I have one answer here. I'm going to change colors. And then the other line lies right on top of it. And so everywhere there is the line, those are solutions. And so in order to have infinite solutions, you're going to have the same equation. Okay. It may look different, but eventually you're going to have the same equal m and equal b's. All right, so to graph these, to solve these, you're going to solve each equation for y. You're going to graph the line, and you're going to find the intersection. It's that simple. It's much easier if you have graph paper, though, so you're going to probably want graph paper for these. Okay, so looking at 1 and 2. Oops. Okay, so for number 1, this first equation, my m is 2 over 1, and my b is negative 5. So I'm going to graph that. So when you have a system of equations, you're going to want to make as many dots of the slope as you can, because your answer most likely is going to be one of those dots. Okay, so let's do the other one. So for this one here, we're going to have to move the x. So I get negative 2y equals x minus 10. And I'm going to divide by negative 2. So I get y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 5. So for this one, my m is negative 1/2. And the negative had dropped off when I drew my fraction. And your b is 5. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. And if you notice, I just put another dot on top of the line I had. And so that tells me that's the solution. So I'm going to draw the line. The solution is right here. And so the solution is 4, 3. When we look at number 2, again, the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to solve. So I'm going to minus 4x on both sides, so I get 2y is equal to negative 4x plus 4. I'm going to divide everything by 2. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 2. And so for this, my m is negative 2, and my b is positive 2. So b is positive 2. And let's go ahead and graph this down 2 over 1. And again, I like to fill up my bar, my whole graph, because it'll make it finding the point very easy, the solution. Okay, so now let's go to another color. Let's go to this one. This one, my m is negative 2, because look, it's already solved, and my b is negative 1. Now you might already notice something, and you might notice that the m's are the same. And again, when you have m's the same, that means they're parallel lines. So you can either graph it and find out what's going to happen. You see they're never going to cross. Or you could solve and circle the m's and say slopes are equal. So this is a no solution. So if you don't want to actually spend the time graphing and you just recognize it by the slopes, I need you to find the slopes and say something about slopes are equal, so that means it's a no solution. If you just write no solution without showing me any steps, I'm not going to know how you did it, and I want to have some kind of evidence that you know why it's a no solution. Okay, so let's look at 3 and 4. So why don't you try and solve 3 and 4, or solve 3 and graph it, and when you think you have it, press play. Okay, so for this first one, it's a -1/2, so down 1/2. It's going to continue that slope both ways, so I can definitely see where things are going to intersect. And then let's try the next one. So up 2, and this one's, so the -2 is on the bottom, but that's okay. You could do that. Go up 3 to the left 2, down 3 to the left 2, down 1, 2. And you see my lines just, I made a dot on top of that other line at that intersection, so that tells me that's my solution. So I'm going to draw my line. And again, my solution is where they cross. And so that solution is at 4, -4. Okay. All right. Why don't you try number 4, and when you think you have it, press play. Okay, so when you graph this first one, you should have found B was -3. And I'm going to go up 1/3. And then I'm going to go down 1/3. Okay, so we're going to draw our line, connect, oops. Messed up. Let's try this again. Okay, and now we're going to graph the other one. So the other one is +1. I'm going to go down 1/1. There it is. You see, I just put a dot on it. So that tells me that's my answer. Right here. And so the answer for that one is 3, -2. Okay. One more problem. I know it's been a lot, but it's good to see the different variety of what you're going to have. And the reason I want to show this problem is sometimes you're going to have one variable. And remember, a one variable means it's either a horizontal or vertical line. So I go where y is -2, and that tells me y is always -2. There's no slope. It's just always -2. And so that means it's going to be a horizontal line. Okay. So now let's look at the next one. Let's do green this time. I'm going to move the x over, so I get -4x + 2. And so I'm going to go to 2, and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. And there it is. It intersected it. It's a little crooked, but you get the gist. Oops. Oops, let's redo that one. And so the intersection is right here. And so our answer is 1, -2. Again, my suggestion is graph the dots on one, connect them, and then graph the dots on the other and connect them, and you can see where things overlap and intersect, and that is where your solution is.